Dr. Pam, it's such a pleasure to be here with you. Yay!
Hello.
And I just think back about when I met you, and I had seen you one other time at a meeting, and then the second meeting I had met you, and I remember, and I remember someone saying, "Oh, you really need to meet Dr. Pam." And then I was like, oh my God, Dr. Pam, yeah, I remember seeing her. And I was just enthralled by how graceful you were in the room and the knowledge that you were imparting. But not just only that, what I really loved about you was that you were so generous in giving. Like you were giving of yourself, giving of like, hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Like resources. And that to me is an epitome of a leader who's not worried about giving away resources, but really giving away and being generous to help support someone and develop them.
Mm.
So for me, the minute I saw you, I had the experience of who you are is gracious, generous, and a true leader. So when I found out that you were what you do and the trainings, I'm like, yeah, that's just right up how I see her to be. So just really thank you for who you are in the community and the impact that you make for all of us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's so
Now, so tell us a little bit more about you.
well, it's funny that you say that because I think that is the source of who I am today. The major I mean, my background is pretty diverse, right? I started my first job was in the private sector, and then I went to municipal local government sector in Detroit, Michigan, and then I did grad school. I did the nonprofit sector, and then I moved into federal government. And so my last kind of major chunk of 15-year experience was U.S. Congress, and there I was a manager for the first time in a substantive way. I mean, I had been director and managing units before, but they were usually small, or I was directing myself or growing a staff. But here's where I became a manager for the first time, and I was not equipped. I mean, I had the innate abilities in some regards, the ability to be in communication and stuff like that. But when it came to managing and supervising, they just sort of threw me into the deep end, and there wasn't a lot of support. There wasn't a lot of organization. They had this really great, what they called this a training program, because they created a new management structure for us and put us all in at the same time. It was all about the technical expertise we needed to be policy advisors to Congress. It had very little to do with managing people, and that stayed with me. And who I've been ever since is I will equip people. So, Rubina, I think it's really cool. Your word was equity, and mine is equip. I want people equipped. It really matters to me that they have what they need to do their job well, because there's so many people who seem to really care about doing a good job. And as a corporate trainer and a coach and a consultant in the corporate space now and all over. I mean, I have clients in Europe and US, UK, Middle East, and there is a common thread. People would like to do well. People want to feel competent. People care about contributing to others. And then they often don't have the tools to do it, or they don't have the resources, or they don't have the know. And that's been my passion ever since. Let me equip people. Now, my second kind of passion has been a target of that middle manager. Sometimes it's the first line manager, sometimes it's the middle manager, because to me, who they are is really heroes. Like you're stuck in the middle. You're leading and you got to be led. You got, the
Right.
pressure coming down from above on you, and you got to manage the expectations coming up from below you in the organizational chart. And I think it really takes something to take that job on. And most of us, I don't think about it. We take the job. We just, I was like me. I got offered the job, and I didn't like how it had been done. So when the guy who was doing the job stepped down, he was retiring, but he took another 2 years before he actually left our group. And so they were looking for the replacement, and they found me. And I had a lot of opinions about how I could do it better. Um, and he wasn't bad. He was a great guy, nice guy, and very supportive of me. This is my first middle management job. I was 30 something. Here I'm an African American woman, I'm an economist. We're working, PhD economists, all of us or most of us. And there's probably about a team of 10. They were almost all, no, they almost all white male. And at least 8 of them were at least 20 years older than me. And now I'm their supervisor. So you talk about no, but nice folks, caring. I'm not coming in trying to be like, commando anyway. I definitely was coming in with a collaborative spirit. Um, but the bottom line was just this sense of like, how do you do this well? And all these decisions coming down that are unattractive, people telling me what I got to tell my people. Like, I don't want to tell them that. I'm not doing that. I'm going to find another way to say this, or we're going to find another way to get this done. So you just leave me, I'll get it done. Don't ask me how, and don't come look over my shoulder. And that kind of experience, I think, managers have it all the time. There's the juggling, a constant juggling. And the question is, do you have all the tools you need? Do you have all the techniques you need? Do you have a space? Do you have a space to go where you can talk to people about what you're dealing with? Because 80% of what you're dealing with is like private personnel issues that you're not supposed to talk about.
Right.
It's just a world it's a different world to be that middle manager, and I have a fondness for the experience I had, and the while the people who brought me in meant well, the lack of preparation has forever guided me to want to prepare everybody else.
Very
And
good.
that caretaking that you're talking about, I take care of anybody. Matter of fact, my father was a social worker, and he forever would be counseling me, Pam. You're an economist and a manager, not a social worker, but social working at work.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for being in the community.
yeah,
Sorry, Debbie?
No. As Pam was talking, I just heard that thread of her recognition that of equipping people, because the people that you're impacting, everyone deserves to be led well. And
yeah,
so it means that in organizations, we have the responsibility of intentionally equipping people at all levels of the organization.
Right.
I love that, Pam. I just heard that coming through.
yeah. I kind of think of your nursing experience, right? I think it's also being mindful. I think it's very easy to forget how many other people are behind the person that you're dealing with. So,
Yes.
like you said, and then when I run into the kind of managers who occur for me as irresponsible, or they're really focused on the technical aspects and could care less about the people aspects of their job, I'm like, are you kidding me? You're talking about somebody's health and well-being, the level of stress they have. Do they go home feeling happy and fulfilled and content, or do they go home feeling angry and stuck and suppressed? And are there 5 people at home experiencing this person who's being either poorly treated or neglected? And I also see a lot like the healthcare space. You have a duty of care. Managers have a duty of care, but it's not impressed upon them in the same way it is in the other spaces, like healthcare. It's obvious you got a duty of care. You don't do your job right, somebody's life is on the line. It's actually true if you're a manager in a bank, but it's not as evident. And that I think that's what's missing in terms of appreciating who managers are, what they're responsible for, and what they could be capable of.